Well, Mike, you're back. I mean, 4 years ago when we showed Diane. And this is such a totally different film to that. That's what sort of took me aback first when I watched it. I mean, was that on purpose? You wanted to do something totally different from what that was?
Yeah, we were trying to go for something different, both stylistically and tonally. So I'm glad to know that we achieved it.
So where did you get the idea? Look, essentially, I'm sure I'm not ruining it for anybody when I say that it's Invasion of the Body Snatchers meets Night of the Living Dead, really, isn't it? But what you do is you add loads of wrinkles on top of that. So although you're going in quite familiar with the subject, you do actually mix it up and mix it around.
Yes, changing some of the conventions of those two storylines. But yeah, very much the story of Invasion of the Body Snatchers meets the plot of Night of the Living Dead.
Yeah. And it still works. I mean, the classic story, the tropes, they make it, don't they?
They do.
Yeah. So when did you was this a pre-pandemic idea that became clearer as you went into the pandemic to actually, well, this is going to work because it's such an enclosed space?
Yeah, the original script for this was written about 10 years ago, which was a very, very different script. It really started in the first 10 pages, which is what you see in the movie that is The Change, which we expanded into a feature. So that story really started kind of in the third act of an Invasion of the Body Snatchers story, and then it sort of moves in more into what was John Milius territory, kind of Red Dawn, where they're trying to get to a free zone. So when we had a certain budget, and I knew I had to write something, I said, I might as well tackle some characters I'm familiar with, and I could work on that, which is what this became.
And was Tony Todd always in the frame for this, or
he was actually my first choice. He really always was my first. It was remarkable. We were talking with the partners. Who could you get for this if I can get anybody? I said, I'd love to have Tony Todd, and we were able to make that happen. We were very, very lucky. He loved the script, and he made it doable for us. He came, and he was just a wonderful collaborator.
Because you do something with him in this that he hasn't had for years, which is he's not just there for marquee value and turns up and does a little cameo and then leaves again. He's actually full on, and it's a proper performance from him. I mean, that's quite something, I think.
Thanks. I was proud to be able to work with him in a capacity that wasn't just exploiting his name, and to use him as the great actor that he is.
Right. And we'll talk about the other cast members too. I mean, Claire.
Oh, Claire Foley, who most people know as the Sinister Girl. She came in very early as well. I wanted to work with somebody who was actually the age of the character. So she was introduced through a filmmaker friend who knew an acting coach who had worked with her, and they made the introduction. I was familiar with her work. I was able to meet with her. I didn't even audition her. It was just we sat down for a couple of hours. We had a talk, and I saw that we could connect. And so we were very lucky to get Claire as well, who incidentally was a little more difficult to get working through Paradigm, her agency, than it was to actually land Tony Todd and make those deals occur. But we're grateful to do it. She's a wonderful person and a terrific talent.
And how long did it take you to do? I mean, was there how many weeks, how many days did it do?
We shot this in 10 days. I'm thinking about it because technically it was 11, but we lost so much time, dealing with different external forces that a couple of the days got cut in half. So for total shooting days, it was 10 days total.
What do you mean external forces?
Oh, the things that are happening in the world right
now. I see.
Yes.
I see. I mean, how different sort of an experience was it from Diane? I mean, for you,
Well, yeah, we had a much larger crew. We were working with quite a few people we hadn't worked with before, so it was the usual troupe of actors and crew members that we've worked with in the past, but it was a new cinematographer, worked with a new producer, and it was, gosh, am I answering the question?
Mm-hmm.
How was it different? We had 18 days for Diane, which was a much more self-contained story, which also mostly occurred in one location. And it was more of a single protagonist-driven story versus an ensemble cast. So really felt like we had a lot of freedom to experiment with Diane and take our time and go for a very different tone and feel than we did with this one. So there wasn't as much room in the Changed for, that's cool, let's try this instead and mix it up. We were just clock, clock, clock. Okay, we've got that in a way that I think is going to work for the film. Let's move on to the next thing. So just not as much freedom to play on this one.
How was your experience with it? I mean, you know, did you sort of like think, I'm actually achieving what I need, what I'm setting out to do? I mean,
Sure, yeah, I do feel like, for better or worse, and I guess that's going to be up to the audience, I did achieve what I wanted to achieve with this film, both tonally and with how I was able to tell the story.
yeah, because I mean, it's there's a balancing act there, isn't it?
Sure.
There? I mean, so it's actually sort of an interesting tone you do strike. I think. I don't think it works.
Right. Oh, one thing.
Yeah.
Thankfully, it's because it's that fine line. You know, looking at somebody. You know, we kept on referring to it as bad mammoth.
Wow,
you know,
right.
I mean, I don't know if that's accurate, but you look at filmmakers like Hal Hartley back in the day, and even Jim Jarmusch, and you know, gosh, even Nicholas Winding Refn, and you had these filmmakers who had that sort of tone, and I always marvel at it was Kubrick, of course, you know, and how they achieve that and how they maintain it, and the clarity of vision in order to achieve something like that. So when we were going for a certain tone, which of course is a little bit stylized, a little bit authentic, and you try and let those things meet in the middle, hopefully you pull it off. It's I'm glad to hear that you feel like it was successful.
And I think this is going to be its first outing on the big screen, isn't it? Really, absolutely.
World premiere, first big screen.
I mean,
Yeah,
are you nervous?
Yeah, of course, of course. I'm always nervous. You know, you make film as a filmmaker, you know, and your collaborators. It's such a collaborative art form, but you're doing it for yourself as well. You want to make something that pleases you, but of course you want people to like your work, and you want people to respond to it in a way that's going to resonate with them, because that's why I like cinema. I love cinema and the cinematic experience in so many films because they spoke to me in some way, and you want to communicate. So as much as it is for the artist and the filmmaker to achieve a vision, it's also about communicating and connecting with an audience.
To be honest, there was a lot of to and fro between us all, because we kept thinking, are we doing your film a disservice by putting it on a massive screen? Should we keep it in one of the smaller screens? Because it took us ages to figure that. Then we thought, no, you know something? Although it's a small story, it's going to look great that big. And so that's what actually turned it around for us in the end. And we thought that was the way to do it. I mean, you would have had a great audience anyway in one of the small, like we did Diane, that was a Discovery screen.
Yes,
if you remember. Well, now you're in the main screen, so I think you've even had a good step up.
Oh, I'm thrilled that happened. The premiere film last night was on the big screen, and it was actually the style in which it was shot. I'm so far. What's the film? The premiere?
Demonic.
Demonic.
Yeah.
Which I loved.
Oh, okay, good.
It was shot in a very similar way. There were a lot of close-ups, and it was a very intimate film, and it was very small and self-contained. So it was very interesting to watch that on an IMAX screen, because I just kept on thinking, as much as I was enjoying the film, how's our movie going to translate onto this gigantic screen?
Yeah, because some actual filmmakers ask us not to show it on the screen, because they do worry that it's actually going to sort of show a bit rough around the edges. Do you know what I mean? But with your one, no question, so it was going to be an obvious no-brainer for that one, I think.
Well,
so.
I'm honored. Thanks so much for putting
And
this on
I'm going to
the
put you
screen.
on the spot, because I'm going to say to you, what is your favourite Body Snatchers movie out of all the remakes and originals that we've seen?
Oh, that's easy. It's Philip Kaufman's version for sure.
A lot of people say that.
Yeah. I do love Ferrera's version as well.
Me too. That is my
love it.
favourite, I have
love
to say.
it. It's a very, very close.
Yeah.
I mean, Forrest Whitaker, everybody in it is so terrific. And Meg Tilly's performance is just chilling in that version.
Yeah. It's incredible how these stories can just keep. I mean, you've taken that and you've sort of redone it for now, and that's what's so brilliant about it, I think, isn't it?
Thanks. And I think those films endure because those still resonate, in contemporary times, and hopefully this will speak to people 10 years from now, 20 years from now, if we're so lucky.
And what's going to happen after the world premiere here? Are you taking it to other festivals? Where are you going?
We don't have any other film festivals lined up, which was the same thing with Diane last time we were here. With our other film, we hadn't had anything else lined up, but I'm sure something's going to come into play. We've got some other submissions out there, and we finished the film so late. I think the reason why we didn't get into some film festivals, at least according to our rep, was they had already planned the entire festival, and
I'm surprised Sitges didn't go for it.
I'm surprised too,
Right.
and a little sad.
Actually, probably not at the moment, because there's no bells and whistles in Sitges at the moment. They're not allowed to do it. So whether they can get back to full speed or not, like us here, I don't know. So it'd be interesting. Anyway, listen, we wish the film well. I know it's going to play really. I think the audience are really going to go for it, Mike. So, you know,
So,
good luck and congratulations.
thanks so much. Great to see you again.